Hello and welcome to another hardcore Nuzlocke. Today I want to attempt a run of HeartGold using only bug types. We are playing one of my favorite games with one of my favorite types. Like many people out there, I'm an OG Pokemon player. I started off with the Generation 1 games, which I love. They are near and dear to my heart. But the Generation 2 games, like many people my age, just hold that very special place in my heart. The Gen 4 remakes are great because they introduce things like the physical special split, and there is a ton of things that we can do in these games. Now, to give you a little bit of backstory, when I was a child, I had one of the original gray Game Boys and a copy of Pokemon Blue, and through some terrible moments, that Game Boy got destroyed. I still had the copy of Pokemon Blue, and when Generation 2 came out, again, I had a very rough childhood. My mom, my biological mom, was pretty big into drinking and drugs, so we didn't have a lot of money. So I did some wheeling and dealing and eventually got my hands on a Game Boy Color. I also got my hands on a copy of Pokemon Silver, and I played that game during a time where life was very rough. It was a nice escape from the reality that was my childhood, and it got me through my teen years, my young teen years, all the way up into foster care and later through my adoption. That is the reason these games hold a special place in my heart. And I've always loved the weaker classes. The type system in Pokemon at its core is just a type system. The bug and poison class are some of the weaker classes, and I love them. Just like any other RPG, I love to play with the weaker ones and see how we can build things up, see how we can make them stronger, and see if we can beat certain scenarios, because it is 99% of the time doable. None of the starters, of course, are bug types, so we grab the Croc known as Totodile, because this thing can learn some good HMs for us. We do the early game stuff, making it to Mr. Pokemon, and he gives us the Pokemon Egg. And then, of course, Professor Oak takes one wee look at us and deems us worthy, I guess. And we get a Pokedex. On our way back to New Bark, we, of course, meet what is going to be our rival of the game. This is a change from the original games where we see his trainer card as opposed to Silver just telling us what his name is. The cops tricked me once again to helping me discover the identity of the boy that broke into the lab. They are tricky. Of course, our rival is not named Silver, it's named Algorithm, because that is what we are trying to beat both in-game and in real life. If you guys want to help me beat the Algorithm in real life, you can do so by clicking the like button, leaving a comment, subscribing to the channel. Once again, a lot of you are returning to these videos week in and week out, and a good fair few of you are not subscribed to the channel. So if you think you are, go check. See if you are. Hitting that subscribe button and all these other things do help out a lot. I know it seems repetitive every week we talk about it, but it helps out so much, and we are trying to grow this thing into something. And you guys can help with that on our journey here, not only to become Pokemon masters, but to become YouTube masters. Oh yeah. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you should always save money with your mom. She will give you held items and berries that will help your runs so much. This is a very important step of our bug run. Our starter is a Caterpie that we met on Route 30 named EMT. It has a docile, neutral nature, which is super good. No plus or minus. Has some decent stats, and there is a name theme, the EMT. Can you guys guess it? We had to wait till nighttime on Route 31 to catch a Spinarak named ENT. There is a name theme. Can you guys guess it? We'll tell it at the end of the run. ENT actually has a relaxed nature, and what is nice about the Heart Gold Soul Silver games is if you scroll over to the screen, the red highlighted is your plus stat, and your blue highlighted is your minus stat. So we have a plus defense, minus speed. That's not great, but we have to take it. Sprout Tower is a great place to train. There's a bunch of sages with Bellsprouts, and at the top we fight Elder Lee. Elderly. Elderly. He's an elder named Lee, but he's also elderly. That is the most silly pun I just got. I was gonna say Spinarak resists everybody's moves here. It's a poison type, so it resists all of the Bellsprout moves, and EMT can take out all of these Pokemon with confusions. There is, however, a Hoot Hoot, but we can employ a strategy that we're going to use against Faulkner, and Poison Powder was not it. That was a misclick. Should have went Sleep Powder. We could set up a few Hardens and then take this thing out. I do decide to set up a Harden against the Hoot Hoot, and we get hit with another Peck. We should have just gone for Confusions because they are doing some serious damage. With the poison damage, it's a 3-hit. We get hit with another Peck. Hoot Hoot takes some poison damage, and we take it out with a follow-up Confusion. The last Bellsprout comes out, and it stands no match, and that is some early game training for us in the bag. We're going to need some strategy to beat Faulkner. Luckily for us, EMT has the ability Compound Eyes, which boosts moves accuracy. So Sleep Powder, instead of being 75% accurate, it's actually 99.7% accurate. So the strategy is we're going to lead with EMT here, and we're going to put the Pidgey to sleep, which we do connect. After that, we're going to set up Hardens to boost our defense because the Pidgeotto in the back has Gust, and it's going to do some serious damage. Pidgey does cooperate with us and stays asleep for 3 turns of Harden. On the 4th turn of me using Harden, Pidgey wakes up and hits us with Sand Attack. That is the worst thing that we could see. I would have rather been hit by Tackle. We do put it back to sleep, and it's at this point I decide it's not really worth setting up the last 2 Hardens. We need to take this thing out. We actually miss with our very first Confusion, and Pidgey does stay asleep. We connect on the next turn with a Confusion for massive damage, and Pidgey wakes up and hits us with a Tackle. But luckily we connect on the follow-up with a Confusion to knock out the Pidgey, and out comes Pidgeotto. We do try to put Pidgeotto to sleep, but we miss with Sleep Powder, and Pidgeotto hits us with Gust. The next turn, same thing happens. We miss Sleep Powder, and Pidgeotto hits us with Gust. It's not doing too bad of damage, and we can heal up with an Oranberry. I actually got an Oranberry off of the Wild Centrets on Route 29. We miss a 3rd Sleep Powder, get hit with another Gust down to 13 HP, and we finally connect after 4 turns with Sleep Powder. What a mess. We managed to hit a Confusion for about a 1/3, and Pidgeotto stays asleep. We fire off another Confusion, taking this thing down to about a 1/3 of health, and Pidgeotto stays asleep. We hit it with another Confusion, which isn't enough to take it out, but leaves it low in the red health, and it wakes up and hits us with another Gust. Down to 1 HP, that is insane, and we don't miss our last Confusion, and we win the first gym badge. Just barely. Did you guys know that I actually have a Discord? Check the description down below, there is a link to it. I've been doing YouTube for a long time. I have another channel where I do Minecraft videos. I haven't uploaded in a while because of some bad internet and traveling for work. I started doing these Pokemon challenges, and I've had more fun with these than I've had in a long time. So we're kind of sticking with these for the moment, but I do have all the different social medias. There for a little while, I was kind of absent, so I'm trying to get back into being more active with all those different things. So if you guys want to follow me in the different places and join the Discord and chit-chat, it's a very quiet place, but we can easily make it a little noisy. After defeating Faulkner, you get access to the HM for Rock Smash, and you can come to the Ruins of Alph and start smashing this little pile of boulders here, netting you some shards. There are yellow shards, red shards, green shards, and blue shards. All are very important, but I'm looking more for yellow shards. We can trade these to a guy in Violet City for different berries, and the yellow shard's going to net us some citrus berries. You can reset the area by going through the guard shack. As you'll see, we smash another rock, and we get ourselves another yellow shard. Nice. This guy just outside of the Pokemon Center will trade shards for berries. This is where I want to trade my yellow shards because we get the Aspir berries, we get the citrus berries, and the Iapa berries. I think I said that right, but mostly we are after the citrus berries, and I'm going to do quite a bit of farming for these shards early on. The next thing I want to do is battle our rival here in Azalea Town. This gets us into Ilex Forest and gives us another potential encounter, and I don't want this rival battle to be the thing that we have to do after the gym. We may lose one of our team members, and this battle would be extremely difficult. I lead with EMT because EMT can one-shot the Ghastly with a single confusion. Out comes Zubat, and it too falls to a single confusion. Last is Bayleaf, but I play very, very terribly. Bayleaf comes out, and I go for our newly learned Gust. Gust does about half of its health, and it sets up a Reflect. I forgot about the physical special split. Gust is actually a special move in these generations, so I swap to ENT. Bayleaf goes for Synthesis. We get outsped and it goes for Synthesis again. I'm stumbling on my words, man. And heals it up to full health. The Stab Poison Sting, even though it's super effective, doesn't do much because of the Reflect. So I decide to go for Nightshade. We are outsped and hit with a Razor Leaf, and Nightshade is doing 16 HP of damage, which is decent. We get hit with another Razor Leaf. That is a crit, and our Nightshade takes this thing down to yellow health. I don't know if Nightshade will knock it out again. Bayleaf sets up a Reflect, and I decide to go for Leech Life. Leech Life leaves this thing in red health, and we get hit with another Razor Leaf. I decide to go for Scary Face because I'm playing terribly. And finally, a Nightshade takes out the Bayleaf. We weren't in any real danger, but that was very sloppy. We get ourselves a Paris named ARC. It has a Jolly plus speed nature. That's minus special attack, which is not great for this Pokemon, but it is another encounter nonetheless. What makes Bugsy difficult is he leads with his ace, Scyther. And Scyther has the ability Technician, which boosts moves that have a base power of 60 or less by 50%. So his quick attack, instead of being a base 40 power move, it's actually base 60 power. Scyther does outspeed us and go for Focus Energy, which is perfect. We get off a Sleep Powder, putting this thing to sleep. Now, provided it stays asleep and the Scyther cooperates, we can win this battle very easily. Scyther stays asleep turn 1, and we hit it with a Gust for about half of its health. Unfortunately for us, a Scyther has a Citrus Berry, which activates, healing this thing up back almost to full health. We hit it with another Gust as it stays asleep, down to very low yellow health. And the last turn, Scyther stays asleep, so we take this thing out with one more Gust. That was very anticlimactic, but hey, this was a very dangerous fight going in. All that Bugsy has left is a Metapod and Kakuna. Metapod comes out. It can't do much to us. We outspeed it anyway and one-shot it with Gust. Out comes Kakuna again. Can't do much to us. We outspeed it and one-shot it with Gust, winning us the second gym. In Ilex Forest, we meet up with this guy that can teach a Pokemon Headbutt, and we're going to go ahead and teach that to our HM Mon Totodile because this is very, very important that we go headbutt some trees. Headbutting some trees nets us a Heracross in Azalea Town with a Lonely plus attack minus defense nature. We named it GRC, and it has the ability Guts. This thing is going to be a beast. You guys know Heracross is a great Pokemon. It doesn't suffer from the same Johto things that most Johto Pokemon do. We also went to Violet City and got a Pineco named RNC with a Brave plus attack minus speed nature. When I was a kid, I mispronounced this thing's name. I called it Pinico, so you may hear me slip up and call it Pinico again. I apologize for that, but Pineco does have a place on the team. You are going to be very valuable later. The very first thing we do once we get to Goldenrod is we head over to the department store, we head to the top, and we try this lottery. Now, different days give you different prizes. Here it is Friday, and we can get TM42 for Facade. Facade is a move that doubles in powers if you have a status condition. So it's a base 70 normal type move. It doubles in power to 140 base attack if you're pre-statused. Heracross also has the ability Guts, which doubles our attack power if we're statused. I don't know if that doubles the 140 base power of the move or if it doubles our attack stat. I'm not 100% sure how Guts works, but this move is going to be amazing. You do not have to do this lottery once and then try it again the next Friday. You can keep doing it over and over again like I am here. We're getting some berries, we're getting some dusk balls, but eventually we do get our hands on the TM for Facade. This is all based on how much money we have. Luckily, we've got a little bit of money. We can keep trying this. And if you're playing on an emulator, you can save scum this. You can hit a save state here and just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. Eventually, you'll get it. Heading down a floor to the TM counter, we can get TM83 Natural Gift. This is a move based on a berry you're holding. If you hold something like a Chesto Berry, it's a water type move. If you hold a Pecha Berry, it is a electric type move, and it's a one-time use type thing. This is a move that Pineco can learn by level up, and we're going to grab a TM anyway. I then head to Route 35 for the 1% chance encounter. This took 30 minutes to get this Yanma named FMC. It has a naive plus speed nature, and it has the speed boost ability. I don't think we're going to use this thing much, but it is another encounter nonetheless. When we were in Violet City getting our Pineco, we headed to New Barktown to show off the hatched egg to the professor, and it is there I did some speed EV training on Route 29 with Heracross. It's very important that we got some speed EVs so that we outspeed all of these Pokemon. We have pre-statused our Heracross, and this battle is going to be ridiculously easy. We're not going to use Facade, but we are going to use the Stab super effective move Brick Break and one-shot the Clefairy. Out comes Miltank, and Miltank goes down the same way. We outspeed it, and we one-shot it with Brick Break, winning us a very easy third gym badge. We make our way to Ecruteak to take on Morty. We did overlevel our Heracross, so we're not going to be using it in this battle, and to be honest, we didn't have any moves anyway. I think it's time to let ENT shine. It learned the priority move Shadow Sneak, and it has taken out all of the trainers in the gym. As Ghastly comes out, we click Shadow Sneak. It is a priority move, so we outspeed it, and we manage to one-shot it with Shadow Sneak. Haunter comes out, and we hit it with Shadow Sneak, but it doesn't one-shot the Haunter, and Haunter just misses Hypnosis. Morty decides to use a Hyper Potion. I hit it with a Nightshade for some chip, and then we finish it off with a priority Shadow Sneak. Nice, clean 2 battles. Out comes Gengar. We use Shadow Sneak against the Gengar, and it does about a third of its health. It's a 3-shot, and my heart sinks a little bit as Gengar hits us with Mean Look. I decide to go for Nightshade, forgetting about Gengar's Citrus Berry. Gengar does hit us with a nasty Shadow Ball that takes us down to 22 HP and gets the special defense drop. We fire off a very weak Nightshade. After the Citrus Berry heals up, we might be able to take this thing out. I think it is a range. We click Shadow Sneak, which is a priority move. We hit the Gengar, and we leave it on a sliver of health, meaning the follow-up Shadow Ball, all we can do is watch as it takes out our friend ENT. ENT was a great Pokemon. It didn't get a lot of screen time, but I used it in many trainer battles. I then send out EMT. EMT does get outsped and put to sleep with Hypnosis, but with all of the shard grinding that we did, we have a Lumberry equipped for this specific situation, and we fire back with a Psybeam, knocking out the Gengar. Haunter comes out, and it outspeeds us. It goes for Curse, which is a little too little, too late? Sure. It's too little, too late. Sapping itself down to half health, we managed to take it out with a Psybeam, never taking a tick of damage from either one of the Pokemon, but we did lose a great friend. EMT and ENT were best friends, so EMT will never be the same as we put ENT in that big box in the sky. I'd like to take a moment of silence for our fallen friend, ENT. You were a great Pokemon. I will miss you dearly. Heading towards the Lake of Rage, I ran into Raikou while surfing. That's crazy. I won't catch it, but you gotta try, right? On Route 43, we catch ourselves a Venonat named LFMC. I wanted to catch this thing over by the Lake of Rage because now we can do the bug catching contest. It has a hardy neutral nature, which is nice, and it has the ability Tinted Lens. That's pretty cool. So we had to wait till Saturday to do the bug catching contest. I want to go ahead and give this thing a try. We're going to use ARC here that has evolved into a Parasect because it has the move Spore, and it has a couple of attacking moves. I think this is going to be our best bet. Now, there are some potential encounters that we can find in here, like Scyther, Pinsir. We can find Caterpie, we can find Venonat, we can find Paris. That's why I went and caught all of these different Pokemon. There is, of course, the most likely encounter, which is Weedle. I really want a Scyther, however, so we're hoping. Oh, sometimes you just gotta say it out loud, you know? Project it out into the world and you'll get what you want back. Whew. The thing that makes me the most nervous is now catching this Scyther. Can we catch it? This isn't like the Safari Zone, so we have a little bit better chance of catching this thing, but it still is scary. We're going to use the fairly weak bug move Leech Life on it to sap its health, and just take this thing down and we'll spore it as needed. Scyther, of course, wakes up and starts hitting us with a Pursuit. I don't know if that's Technician boosted or not. We put it back to sleep, and we continue to sap it with Leech Lives. Eventually, we take this thing low enough to where we're going to start throwing the Sport Balls at it. We throw our very first Sport Ball, and surprisingly enough, we catch this thing. First try. That's amazing. Well, time to retire the bug catching contest. We got our encounter. Not that it matters, but I wanted to see if we won anything, and it looks like third place goes to a Beedrill. Second place goes to somebody who caught a Venonat. That is a Pokemon I told you we could catch. And it looks like first place goes to somebody else who caught a Scyther, so okay, that's fine. Our Scyther we named MC, and it has a serious neutral nature, and it has the ability Technician. All those things are great. This is a great Pokemon. I am so happy we caught this thing. Heading towards Olivine, there is the Lon Lon Ranch here, where there is a sick Miltank. If you get the Lon Lon Ranch reference, put that in the comment section below, but this is the Moo Moo Milk Farm. The Miltank needs about 10 orange berries to heal itself back up, and I think we have to go over to the house and talk to the people. I forgot the TM for Drain Punch was down in the south end of the fields. Yeah, I think we just need to talk to these people here that say that their Miltank is sick and it needs some berries. We'll talk to you two just because, and hopefully now we can give the Miltank some berries. Oh, there we go. So we're going to give it some orange berries, and eventually this thing is fine. And what's nice is we can get the seal case and the seals, that doesn't matter, but we can head back into the house and we can talk to the mom, and she gives us a TM for natural gift, so we didn't have to buy one. With all the berry farming that we did, it's just another TM that we can get. In Cienwood, we get our hands on a Shuckle, and with the help of some friends, we name this thing IMC. It has a relaxed, plus defense, minus speed nature. I'm never going to use this thing. Shuckle, you're going in the box. I'm sorry. We have a stab, super effective move in Wing Attack. We have Technician boosting that. And we have a Lumberry just in case we get hit with Body Slam Paralysis or Focus Punch Confusion. It doesn't matter. We have a Lumberry equipped. Out comes Chuck's lead Primeape. We click Wing Attack, and it is enough to one-shot the Primeape. Out comes Poliwrath. We hit it with a Wing Attack, and it doesn't quite take it out. We leave it with a sliver of health, but luckily for us, Poliwrath has a Citrus Berry equipped, which takes it out of healing range. We do get hit with a Body Slam, but luckily no paralysis. Again, we have the Lumberry. A follow-up Wing Attack wins us the gym battle. The best part of any Gen 2 game is literally watching the leader of the Pokemon League kill a man with a Hyper Beam from Dragonite. That is insane. Johto is a crazy, lawless place. Whitney doesn't want to give you her badge. Claire won't give you her badge. The leader of the Johto League is out here attacking human beings with Pokemon. I don't think anything that's going on in Johto is legal. And they're worried about Team Rocket. Crazy. I would love to use different Pokemon in these battles, but Heracross can easily take out both Price and Jasmine. And Price isn't the next gym leader, but by level cap, he's one level lower than Jasmine, so we're going to take him on. Against his lead Seal, I actually lead with Fortress, who has a held Pecha Berry and Natural Gift. We fire off Natural Gift, and unfortunately it is not enough to one-shot the Seal. It leaves it at a sliver of health, but Seal sets up the Hail, and Seal is not an ice type, so it takes itself out with its own Hail. That's hilarious. Out comes Piloswine, seeing the super effective move in Mud Bomb, so we swap to Heracross, getting hit with a Mud Bomb in the swap. Doesn't do much damage. After the Hail and Burn, we can fire off a super effective Brick Break, one-shotting the Piloswine. Last up is Dugong. Again, we have to go through all of the Hail and Burn damage. We fire off a super effective Brick Break against it, and we one-shot it. Next up is Jasmine. I didn't even level up the team, we just came straight here. Used a potion on GRC because of the burn damage that we took in the last battle. She leads with the Magnemite, and we have our Guts boosted Brick Break that cleanly one-shots the Magnemite. Out comes her second Magnemite, we outspeed it and hit it with a Stab super effective Guts boosted Brick Break to one-shot it. And last but not least is her very bulky Steelix. We hit it with a Stab super effective Brick Break, but it does not go down in one hit. That is the bulk of Steelix. It does heal up a little bit with a Citrus Berry, pulling it out of healing range. And Steelix just sets up Sandstorm. Nice. So a follow-up Stab super effective Guts boosted Brick Break takes out the Steelix, winning us the 6th gym badge, technically our 7th. There's a bunch of rocket stuff that we have to do. My second favorite part of this game is the rocket gear that we get to equip. I think it looks so cool. I wish we could just stay in this outfit for the remainder of the game. The only thing that's nerve-wracking is Petrol's team. He has a team full of Coughings that can go boom. There's a Wheezing in here too. Luckily for us, we got a Guts boosted Facade, so it was not an issue. There is an Algo battle below the department store in the Rocket Hideout, but again, we have Facade, we have a pre-statused GRC, we have Aerial Ace. There's really nothing any of his Pokemon can do to us. Haunter threw us for a quick loop, but Aerial Ace takes it out. Out comes Sneasel, it's a Brick Break to take it out. We have counters for all of his Pokemon. I just wanted to show off. We haven't shown off an Algo battle in a minute. The strategy for Claire is to soak up the Intimidate from her Gyarados and then clap back with a Electric type natural gift, and I've got a secret weapon on our team for the rest of her Pokemon. ARC goes out, soaks up the Intimidate from the Gyarados. It also soaks up a Dragon Rage for 40 HP of damage, and we fire back with a Spore, putting Gyarados to sleep. ARC really has been invaluable behind the scenes doing exactly this. We then swap into RNC, who's holding that Pecha Berry. We get off a 4x super effective Electric type natural gift, one-shotting the Gyarados. You guys try to say that 4 times fast. Out next is the Dragonair, who I think has Fire Blast, so I stay in and protect, scoping the move out. It does in fact have Fire Blast, so I decide to send in MC, and I forgot to equip the Aka Berry. Ooh, so we get hit with a Fire Blast, and surprisingly we tank it. The only choice I have here is to fire off a Wing Attack, and a Stab Technician boosted Wing Attack does take the Dragonair out. That was very dangerous. I almost lost this Pokemon. Out next is her Thunder Waving Dragonair, so I decide to swap back into ARC. We do get hit with a Thunder Wave on the swap. The next turn we get hit with a Dragon Pulse, and we don't stay paralyzed, so we get off a Spore. We then swap in our secret weapon, LFMC, who has a Hidden Power Dragon. I scoped out all of my different Pokemon's hidden powers, and this was the only one that actually had a good hidden power. We fire off Hidden Power Dragon for a decent chunk of damage. Doesn't one-shot, but it does do over half damage. Dragonair, however, stays asleep, so a follow-up Hidden Power takes out the Dragonair, and out comes Kingdra. This is exactly the position I wanted to be in. Against her Kingdra, we fire off a Hidden Power, and it does well over half damage, but of course I forgot about the Citrus Berry. Kingdra fires off a Smoke Screen, which is annoying. I hate accuracy drops. We use a Signal Beam the next turn trying to do some chip, but we do a little bit more than chip damage, and Kingdra hits us with a pretty strong Hydro Pump. I can't believe that connected. Did well over half damage. Luckily for us, we do have a held citrus berry to bring us back up over health so we can tank another hydro pump. Claire then goes for a hyper potion. We hit a signal beam for just about half health, and we managed to take out the Kingdra with a hidden power, never missing a move after the accuracy drop. We have to go do the Dragon's Den stuff, of course, because Claire won't give us the badge, and this won't even let us pick the stupid answers like cheating to win Pokemon battles. It just won't. So you answer these questions, and eventually Claire comes in cocky that you lost, and you didn't. Give us the badge. You should have given it to us before we even went into this dank cave. Before we can head to the Elite Four, we have to do battle with the Kimono Girls. We then have to go to the top of the Tin Tower and watch them do their little dance with the Clear Bell, summoning the Fire-Flying type legendary Pokemon Ho-Oh. I like playing HeartGold because this tower is a little easier to climb than going through Whirl Islands. We have an opportunity here to battle, catch, it doesn't matter, the Ho-Oh. We go into battle. I decide we're just going to use Heracross with Facade, and we're going to take this thing out. It does set up a sunny day, but 2 Facades take it out, and the Kimono Girls really aren't that happy that we did that. Leaving Victory Road, just before the Indigo Plateau, we do have a battle with our rival. I have a pre-statused GRC here with super effective moves and Facade. We knock out the Sneasel with a Brick Break, the Golbat goes down to Facade, Kadabra goes down to a Facade as well. Meganium comes out, and we click Aerial Ace to take that out, but it actually survives. So another Aerial Ace takes it out. With the Reflect up, the Haunter doesn't go down, so it hits us with a Curse. Against his Magneton, we're at 3 HP, because I was speeding through this, and my heart just went into my throat. Ooh, that was close. I have a couple of Pokemon to actually choose from, so I did some strategizing and some thinking about who I wanted to bring into the Elite Four, and these are the team members. Each and every one of them have a job to do. There's a specific order of things that is going to happen, and all of these guys need to survive to get us to Lance and beat Lance. It's going to be a tough battle, but with this team of 6, I think we can do it. First Elite Four member is Psychic Trainer Will. I decided to lead with EMT because we had just learned the move Bug Buzz. What I forgot is his first Xatu actually has me first, so whatever move we use, Xatu is going to use first. It hits us with Bug Buzz for very little damage, and we fire back for well over half of its health. It's the same exact thing on the second turn where it hits us with a weak Bug Buzz, and we take it out with a Bug Buzz. Out comes Jinx. I forgot this thing had Stab, Ice Punch. I also forgot that Butterfree's really slow, so we get outsped and hit with a Stab, super effective Ice Punch down to 4 HP. Our Citrus Berry activates, and we fire off a Bug Buzz that does take out the Jinx. So we were lucky not to lose a Pokemon. I was just talking about how I need all 6 of these guys to make it to Lance. Out comes his Ace Xatu, and I swap to Scyther. We get hit with an Aerial Ace on the swap for a significant amount of damage, and I use Thief. That steals the Citrus Berry from the Xatu and takes it deep into the yellow health. Xatu hits us with another Aerial Ace down to 22 HP, but the Citrus Berry we just stole heals us back up to 53 HP. Will then decides to use a full restore. We hit it with a Wing Attack, and then another Wing Attack to take it out. Out comes Executor, and we hit it with a Technician boosted Stab, super effective Wing Attack to one-shot it. Last but not least is Slowbro, and I had a momentary, what do I want to do? I decided to go for Exciser. It's not boosted by Technician, but because this thing is Psychic, it's weak to Bug, we take it out. Next is the Poison Trainer Koga. We're going to lead with EMT against Ariados, our fallen comrade Ariados. Hello, friend. We fire off a Psybeam that cleanly one-shots the Ariados. It was a critical hit. I don't think that crit mattered. Out next is Crobat, who outspeeds us and go for double team. We get off a Sleep Powder, which is wonderful. I think it's going to take a couple of Psybeams to take this thing out. But next turn, Crobat stays asleep, and EMT is not playing any games. We get a critical hit to one-shot the Crobat Amazing. Out comes Venomoth. Venomoth hits us with a supersonic, so of course the first turn of confusion, I hit myself in confusion. Venomoth then hits us with a nasty psychic for just over half of our health, and gets the special defense drop, which is terrible. We do snap out of confusion and hit this thing with a Psybeam for well over half of its health. I think we can tank another psychic, so I stay in and just get hit with Toxic. That's fine, we fire off the Psybeam, taking out the Venomoth. Out next is Koga's Fortress, so I decide to send out my own for a mirror battle. His Fortress just goes for Protect, which fails. I use Natural Gift, and I had equipped a berry for a Fire-type move, but it's not quite enough to knock it out. Fortress fires back with a Swift. That sucks. I decide to go for Bug Bite, and Koga goes for a full Restore. Bug Bite doesn't do a lot of damage, and then Fortress starts its annoying stuff with Protect. I decide to set up a couple layers of spikes. Fortress sets up a layer of Toxic spikes, so I decide this is the perfect time to swap in GRC and hope that we get poisoned because I forgot to pre-status it. It works, we do get poisoned, that's wonderful. We need a status condition, and I almost messed this up. There's some back and forth with protects and stuff from Fortress, but eventually we get off 2 Brick Breaks to take out the Fortress, and out comes Muck. We're at pretty low health, but we fire off a Wicked Facade to knock out the Muck, winning us the second Elite Four fight. Third is Bruno. I lead with ARC against his Hitmontop because Hitmontop has Intimidate. My plan here is just like with the Gyarados, we're going to put this thing to sleep. Hitmontop hits us with a quick attack that activates our Effect Spore, and it poisons the Hitmontop. Well, that wasn't part of the plan, so Spore misses. We go ahead and swap into GRC, and Hitmontop is going for Dig. Since it went for Dig, I decide to go for Earthquake. Earthquake does a lot more damage when you're underground, so we one-shot the Hitmontop. Out next is Hitmonlee. Because we're pre-statused and we have a super effective move in Aerial Ace, we managed to one-shot the Hitmonlee with Aerial Ace. We one-shot the Hitmonchan with Aerial Ace. When the Onix comes out, we have to swap up our moves to Brick Break, but we one-shot the Onix with Brick Break. And last up is Machamp, who we also one-shot with Aerial Ace. It was a crit, I don't know if that mattered, but that is the third Elite Four member beaten. Last is Karen, the Dark-type trainer. The plan is to take out this Umbreon as soon as possible. It's annoying. It can do some serious damage with Sand Attack and Stall strats. We do have a stab super effective move in Signal Beam. Signal Beam does a significant amount of damage, taking Umbreon deep into the red health, and we get hit with a weak Feint Attack in return. That's wonderful. Karen then goes for a full restore, so we get back-to-back Signal Beams to take out the Umbreon. As Murkrow comes out, we fire off a Signal Beam, and it is a clean one-shot. Houndoom is up next, and I swap into GRC that has a held Akaberry. I made sure this time, and even with the held Akaberry, Flamethrower still does a significant amount of damage, plus the poison damage. We fire off a status boosted Facade, one-shotting the Houndoom. Gengar comes out and I need to swap. I decide to swap into ARC, and Gengar's just going for Spite, so we put it to sleep with Spore, and we swap in EMT. EMT gets a clean one-shot with Psybeam, and last but not least is Vileplume. We fire off a Psybeam for well over half of Vileplume's health, not enough to take it out, and we get hit with a Stun Spore. That means we get outsped and hit with an Acid on the next turn, and we stay paralyzed. We get hit with an Acid again the next turn, and we stay paralyzed. We get hit with an Acid on the next turn, but this time we finally break through paralysis to KO the Vileplume. This battle with Lance is an insane back and forth, and I needed every single one of these Pokemon to survive. He leads with Gyarados, and I lead with EMT. I'm going to soak up the Intimidate and put this thing to sleep. I do have a held Yachi Berry for the incoming Ice Fang. All of these held berries that we have, we got from our mom because she kept money for us. It is the most important thing we did this whole run, because without these berries, we would not have survived that Ice Fang, and we would not have been able to put the Gyarados to sleep. After the Gyarados goes to sleep, we swap in RNC. RNC once again is holding a berry that will do a 4-time super effective electric move, cleanly one-shotting the Gyarados. Again, all these berries were from our mom. This baits out the Charizard because of our quad weakness to fire. We decide to stay in and get hit with the Fire Fang. It is a critical hit and it does one-shot us. RNC can rest easy. You literally did the job that I had planned for you. Thank you so much, friend. You got us this far. We swap in GRC. We fire off a poison boosted facade to cleanly one-shot the Charizard, and this brings out Aerodactyl. I can't outspeed it with GRC. I'll need GRC later, so I swap in EMT because I need a sacrifice. Aerodactyl hits us with an Aerial Ace on the swap in, cleanly one-shotting EMT, and that brings in ARC. ARC is holding a berry that weakens the power of Rock-type moves because I had planned for the Rock Slide from the Aerodactyl. A Charty berry. We got that again from our mom. This puts Aerodactyl to sleep. I need to get off a Giga Drain to do some chip damage because I can't quite knock out the Aerodactyl without it. Aerodactyl does stay asleep, and we fire off a Giga Drain doing some chip damage, which is perfect. Aerodactyl wakes up and hits us with an Aerial Ace, knocking us out. ARC was always going to go down. That is 3 of our Pokemon sacrificed in this battle. I didn't see a way around it, and the Effect Spore actually poisons the Aerodactyl, which is wonderful. That extra little bit of chip damage ensures that we're going to win. Now, I speed EV trained MC, and as it comes out, it does outspeed and fires off a Water-type natural gift that is enough to take out the Aerodactyl. Amazing. This now brings out Lance's Dragonite that has the move Thunder. We do outspeed it and fire off a pretty strong Stab Technician boosted wing attack. It's of course not enough to take out the Dragonite, and it does hit us with a 70% accurate Thunder to one-shot MC, bringing us down to our last 2 Pokemon. We send out LFMC with its hidden power Dragon type, and we take out the first Dragonite with Venomoth. This is a nail biter. I'm just sitting here, literally just clenching my fists, hoping and praying. His Ace Dragonite comes out with Outrage. We fire off a hidden power. We actually outspeed the thing, and we do a very decent amount of damage down to about a half of health, and we get hit with an Outrage. What's surprising is we didn't get it enough into the berry range where it's Citrus Berry activated. We tank the Outrage on 4 HP. I just peeked the mic. I'm sorry about that. And we fire back with a hidden power that cleanly takes out the Dragonite, never activating its Citrus Berry. That is insane. Now, I know we're going to go down. There's nothing else to do. There's no reason to bring in GRC and take unnecessary damage. We fire off a hidden power Dragon just for some chip damage before we go down to a Dragon Rush. We send out GRC, there's nothing else to do. We fire off a Facade, and it cleanly takes out the Dragonite, winning us the Elite Four, winning us the run. I had so much fun doing this run. This was an insane back and forth at the end here. And really, Kanto doesn't offer much in the way of challenges except for Blue's Gym and then Red at the end. I don't have a team anymore, and there's very few bug Pokemon that we can get, so we're just going to call this a done deal. We beat a HeartGold Nuzlocke, hardcore Nuzlocke with bug-type Pokemon. Our death counter is up to 6, but again, I'm not going to change it. We're just going to consider these friends boxed. The run is over. I had so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I don't know what else we could have done with Lance there to beat him. That was an insane strategy that we came up with. Bug types are great, but they are frail. Anyway, that's enough babbling. I've done the voiceover portion of this run. It is time for me to get this thing edited and hopefully get it uploaded. I am still behind on all of my things, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. The name theme was Electrical Conduits. EMT is electrical metallic tubing. ARC is aluminum rigid conduit. GRC is galvanized rigid conduit. MC is metal clad cable. LFMC is liquid tight flexible metal conduit. And RNC, I think I said, I don't know. It's rigid non metallic. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.